Alright, so today we're doing a different type of video. We're doing a top 5 must-have mods for the game Cities Skylines in October 2018. These are the mods that I use to in a way enable the game's full potential. Because to be honest, this game without mods can be a complete mess. Of course, all mods will be linked in the description down below, and you can also find them in our Discord server under the channel name Prost Gaming Info, which is also linked down below. I just also want to take the time and give a big thank you to all who support this channel on Patreon and to all who watch this channel without ad block. So thank you. Without you, this channel wouldn't be possible. Now, before we start with the list, I just want to tip you guys about the mod 81 Tiles. I always use this mod since it allows me to build anywhere on the map, but of course I didn't want to put this mod in the list since it's rather basic and I just didn't want it to take up a spot. So here is the list itself. Let's start with the number 1. This is a mod that I've used pretty much since I started to play Cities Skylines. It's called Automatic Bulldoze, and in this case it's version 2 by Mexahuk. I have no idea how you pronounce that, but yeah, it will be written on the screen anyways. But it basically removes all the abandoned buildings and or burned buildings. It's really helpful when it comes to normal buildings like residential and commercial. It helps keep your city nice and clean with fresh buildings. Even during something like a disaster, it's really nice to have since it will remove all collapsed or broken buildings, which will allow for a nice new building to be built. Now, the only downside that I can think of about this mod, and that can sometimes be a bit of a pain, is if something like, for example, your train station catches fire and is burned to the ground, then the building will be deleted by the mod if it's enabled, of course. And for someone like me, that can be a big pain, because sometimes I leave the game running in the background for multiple hours. Sometimes I even leave the computer running overnight. And to wake up the next day and see that your city has completely broken down and is not working and you've wasted an entire night, that's just really annoying, but it's more or less the only downside about this mod. Alright, so moving on to number 2. This mod is called Move It! Or whatever 2.2.0 by Sam TS. Hopefully that is pronounced correctly. This is a mod I should have picked up much earlier, but for some reason I was stubborn as usual and I didn't pick it up, and now I have, and it's totally one of the best mods I have ever used. You can copy, you can move, and you can delete stuff very easily by just selecting an entire area or chunk or whatever with your square selection tool, and then you can do whatever you want to it. You can even move it around without actually picking it up and putting it down somewhere else. You can actually just drag stuff around, and the game, yeah, it will mess up the game a bit, but it's pretty cool stuff. And so what does this mod actually do for your city? Well, it kind of enables you to expand your city into territories or places that you have never been before. Let's say you build a really awesome train station and you have a city split up in multiple places. No, let's say it like this here. Let's say you have a map with multiple cities on it and you want a really awesome train station on each of these cities. So you build a really nice and detailed train station in one of the cities and you just don't have the time to build another train station in one of the other cities. You can use this mod. You just copy the awesome train station you just built and you pick it up, put it down in the 2 other cities, and it's nice, complete. So that's very nice, and it allows you to expand your awesome city into a huge awesome city. So this mod here actually has a few other functions up its sleeves. First of all, my favorite thing here is the snapping options. This allows you to snap roads and stuff like that to each other while copying, which is very nice if you want to very easily expand your grid or whatever. Because you guys know me, I build a lot of grid cities and that's just my style, and this This mod really helps me expand quicker. One more functionality that this mod has is the undo button, which allows you to undo. Let's say you copy something big, you paste it down and you mess stuff up. You can undo that and it should be all fine. The only thing you need to take into consideration here is that deletion is permanent. If you select something and delete it, it's gone. So take that into consideration. Other than that, you can undo stuff while copying and moving and all that. So there are a few more points here that I want you guys to take into consideration before downloading this mod. That it's kind of demanding to copy bigger selections, and it can sometimes freeze up your games for like 5 to 10 minutes or whatever if you copy something really big. This is actually my favorite mod, probably. You can build bigger and better, and therefore I recommend it. And one more thing here before I move on to number 3 is don't forget to rezone after you copy a selection. When copying and pasting down roads and all that, the zoning of that road will be gone. I've done this mistake here many times. I just take a big selection and I copy it and paste it somewhere else, and I forget to rezone, and so that entire city just is gone in like 30 seconds or whatever. Just don't forget to rezone, and that should be it. Moving on. In our number 3 spot, we have Traffic Manager President Edition. Now I really love this mod, and it more or less saves not really all but most of my cities which have a lot of traffic in them. So what does this exactly do here? Well, it kind of lets you fiddle around and fix stuff in the traffic and roads and intersection and all that, but it also improves the AI of the vehicles. I should say Cims maybe, but it improves the AI of the people living in your city, and that is really important. A few examples here about this mod. It can remove and fix big and small traffic jams all around your city. You can change speed limits and force behaviors around intersections. It has an option for advanced AI to improve AI lane switching and planning, which is key and which is something I pretty much always use. And there are a few more neat things, like you can disable red lights and enable them again on like anywhere in roundabouts and highways and all that. You can clear traffic, which is really neat. Yeah, I have a pretty great example here about why this mod is so awesome. So I had a series that I think I called Industrial City or something. It's really a big city with a lot of industry, where I pretty much force all the import and export to be done by trucks, which is pretty cool because you will have a lot of trucks if it's a big city. But anywho, without this mod, I had like single lines of trucks stretching throughout the entire city and highway system. And when enabling this mod and doing some micromanagement and enabling the advanced AI, it pretty much just fixed my entire city and solved all of my traffic problems. So that is really cool. And I really had a ton of trucks, so that's really nice. Hopefully I can have some example footage here on screen. That would be really cool. So I want to give big props to this mod, and I always recommend it. Just always use it. It's very nice and I love it. Now moving on to number 4 is a mod that I just recently got, but it will have a huge impact on how the game plays out. This mod will save you from giant death waves, and it will just overall make your city behave more normally. So it's pretty much just a randomizer for when Sims move in or people move into your city. It randomizes the age and or education levels of new Sims that move into your city. So basically the age of people are randomized instead of at a set point, which I think it is usually, but I'm not really too sure. But now it's randomized and it does seem to work. So this will pretty much disable death waves, and it will normalize your age ratios, because otherwise when you have a lot of people move into a city, like you will have groups of like, first they will be young, and then they will be old and young and old, and you'll have like really crazy economy going all over the place. Really, there's nothing more complicated about this mod. I just like it and I have it installed, and I will probably always use it. So it's a pretty good addition to the game. Now moving on to the last mod here on our list. This mod is called Extra Landscaping Tools, and it's really awesome. It pretty much allows you to play around with the game on a whole new level. And yeah, let's just get straight down to the features. Pretty much this is about terraforming or whatever it's called in this game. It allows you to play around with the terrain, raise levels, decrease levels, add water and whatnot. You can just do a ton of stuff with this mod. Really the key points here is that you can form stuff exactly to your needs and you can do it really quickly. You can do sharp turns and whatnot in the terrain. You can do everything here. And you can do it in a split second without limitations. And of course, it's a lot easier to do this if you actually pause the game before you start moving around the terrain. You will have problems otherwise, because if you have a big city, it will start to lag and it will start to lag big time. A few more things that you can do with this mod is remove and add trees at random and with textures and whatever. You can change the strength of your brushes and whatnot, so you don't do big changes when you want to do small changes and all that. You can customize it to whatever you like. If I remember here correctly, there should also be a undo feature here, which is pretty neat because it's very easy to mess up the terrain and do stuff that you do not want to do. Also, you can add terrain textures, which is pretty much just a black and white bump map thingy. It allows you to add like custom mountains and whatnot, and hopefully I show some of that here in the video. But really there is no drawbacks about this mod here. It's just pure awesomeness and you should get it. So that's pretty much all I can say. So I think that's pretty much all for this video. We've gone through all the 5 mods, and of course, as I said before, it's all linked in the description down below. As always, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. A big thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye bye.